Welcome to Furniture Redesigned by MBM. Make sure to get subscribed and keep watching. Hey everyone, here's a look at the project we'll be working on for today. This old dresser, and as you can see, all of the hardware is missing but two pieces. I want to give this piece a glam look. In my area, I do sell a lot of the glam. So I purchased, for this unit, we'll be using this Rust-Oleum paint in the silver. I purchased hardware, and this is the hardware that I purchased for the piece. Because the hardware holes are 5-inch on center, it means I'll have to fill these holes and drill new holes. Also, as you can see, the piece is pretty low. I'm only 5'1½", and you can see where the drawer is hitting me. So I purchased these legs 3 inches, and I'm going to have to raise the piece a bit, just to give it a little bit more height. For the top of the dresser, I purchased this epoxy kit, and it was from Amazon, and it was, I want to say, $16.99 for that kit, but I'll leave a link to this and everything I used. I have this crushed glass glitter, once again from Amazon, and I want to use that on the top of the piece. I also have some epoxy glitter that I want to use. It's kind of chunky, so I'll use that. And I have some confetti glitter, and I also have some fine silver glitters that I will be using on this project today. Instead of adding the glitter with Mod Podge, I'm going to go ahead and add it to my epoxy before it dries. So as usual, we're going to get started by taking the few pieces of hardware off, and we're going to wash the piece down. Now the piece is fairly clean, but I'm using Dawn dish soap to make sure that I get all the grease off the piece so that it doesn't affect my paint. Make sure you clean the inside of the drawers as well. Even though they look clean on the inside, you want to make sure that they're clean and fresh and ready for the new owners. Now that I have my piece clean and rinsed, I'm going to go ahead and remove these pieces of hardware from the top drawers. Then I'm just using some wood filler or plastic wood to fill the holes on the drawers. Now I flip my dresser over to inspect the bottom. I will have to add a piece of wood to the back side of the piece to hold the legs. So I have a 1x2. And looks like someone has already did some repair work to the bottom of the dresser, which will make it easier for me. So I'm just going to line my 1x2 up where I want it to go, and then I'll make a mark to the length that I need it to be so I can cut it. Because my husband is away with a saw, I am going to use my miter box to cut the piece. And this should be really simple and easy to do. My wood is cut, so now I just want to move right along to the painting. I have my metallic silver paint here by Rust-Oleum, and we want to start to roll it on. I have my foam roller and I have my paint in a foil lined tray. So let's go ahead and get started with the paint. For this piece, I didn't see any markings in the drawer to tell you who the maker is, but it is 100% wood. There's no fiberboard. All of the piece is wood. And the repairs that was made on the bottom, it looks like the wood has started to split. They glued it, clamped it and glued it, but they also put a brace across the bottom to make sure that it stays together. This is good for me because now I can attach my 1x2 to the 1x2 that's already attached there. The first coat of paint is dry on the drawers, so we're ready to start adding the second coat to the drawers. If you've never used metallic paint, when adding that final coat, you want to make sure that all your strokes are long. You want to start from one end and go to the other end in one stroke, and this will give you a smooth finish. Now here come the fun stuff. I have my epoxy kit here and I'm doing equal parts. I poured it into the small plastic cups for measurements, and then I added it to the large red cup. It came with the gloves and it comes with this stick to mix. So what I want to do is add it all together and then I'll mix it. My directions say mix for 5 minutes in the cup. So this is what we're going to do. Before I pour the epoxy on the top, I want to make sure that I tape around the edge of my dresser top. I wish I had some blue painter's tape, but I just have the green. So I'm just going to make sure that everything is super tight before pouring on my epoxy. I use the popsicle stick to make sure that I get into the corners and that I can help it start to flow. I'm also taking that stick and I'm going along the edge, and I'm just making sure that there's epoxy on the edge as well, so that what's in the middle will just flow to the edges. Once my epoxy starts to flow, then I'll go right ahead and add the glitter and the crushed glass to the top. So now have added my glitter. I have the heavy glitter, the fine glitter, I have the resin glitter, and the crushed glass added. As you can see, it's still haven't quite leveled out yet, but you can see how beautiful it's going to be once the epoxy levels out. I'll keep coming back, checking it and moving the epoxy around to help it level out a bit, but it's going to take overnight for it to dry, and we'll be able to see how it turns out. So I'll see you in the morning when it's dry. Good morning. I let my epoxy dry overnight and it really has a beautiful finish. It's really pretty, except for, I guess, the epoxy pushed all the crushed glass toward the front end. or the front part of the dresser, which made it have a knotty or a not smooth feel. So to remedy that, I'm just going to mix up a little bit more epoxy and pour it over it and let that level out so that I can get that smooth finish that we're looking for. While the second coat of epoxy is drying on my dresser, I go ahead and take my drawers. I decided to add the pull in the middle of the groove so that I don't have to measure and find the center. So I find the center of the groove, and then I measure out 2.5 inches on either side, which should fit my handle. Once I have my markings, I take the handle, place it on the mark to make sure that it's correct. Once I know for sure that this is where my handle should be, I take my drill and drill through those markings, and I'll do the same on all my drawers. I screw in my hardware, and here's a peek at what it looks like. Heading toward the finish line, I flipped my dresser back over. I added the piece of wood that I needed to hold my legs. I then took this drill bit, I drilled the pilot holes where the screws will fit into the legs. Now I'm ready to screw the legs on. Now I'm ready to line the inside of my drawers. I purchased this roll of contact paper, and I just want to put it in the bottom of the drawers, and I'll do it off camera to save time. The second coat of resin is dry, and as you can see, it has that glass look finish, but the edges are rough. So I'm just going to take my small sander, and I'm going to use a high grit sandpaper. This is 300 grit, and I just want to sand off or knock down the rough edges on the dresser. Use my hand to make sure that I have everything smooth before using a damp cloth to wipe away all the dust that's left behind. During the sanding process, I knocked some of the paint off the edge of the dresser. I'm just using my short handle angle brush to touch it up. I'll also make sure that I don't get any paint on the resin top. And if I do, I can take a damp cloth and wipe it away. I'll use 2 coats of this paint to touch up the top or edge of the dresser. Now it's time to protect the finish on the dresser. I have my wipe-on poly in the clear finish, and I'm going to use a lint-free cloth, and I just want to wipe on 2 coats of the poly. I'm going to get my first coat of poly added to the dresser. I'm going to let it dry. We'll come back, add a second coat off camera, and we'll come back for the reveal. I think my dresser turned out absolutely beautiful, especially the top. It is smooth. Now, it's not perfect, but yet beautiful. And right here on the front edge, you can see where my epoxy didn't quite flow and level out here, but that's something I can take care of later with just adding a little bit more of the epoxy. Again, I think my dresser turned out absolutely fabulous. And here is the drawers where I added the liner just to give it a little bit more oomph, if you will. The hardware and the legs is a perfect combination. But you let me know, what do you think? Is this something that you would try, or is this something that you would like? I want to know in the comments. If you're out there watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel, now's the time to do so. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And don't forget the notification bell so you'll know when I upload new videos. And be sure to share this video with your friends and family. It's time to say thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye now.